Ma'adim lesimcha, everyone. So this Shabbat is the Shabbat of Sukkot. And Sukkot is a very, very, very special mitzvah for many different reasons. But one of them is Sukkot. It is the only mitzvah that your feelings are taken into account, really. Sukkot is the only mitzvah that there is a halacha that says, Hamitzta'er patur min sukkah. The person who is suffering is exempt from the sukkah, is exempt from staying inside the sukkah. If it's too hot, if it's too cold, if it's unpleasant for you, if there are too many mosquitoes, you are exempt from being in the sukkah. There's a story in the Gemara of two rabbis that were sitting in the sukkah, and one of them was getting up to leave, and he said, his friend told him, he says, why are you leaving? He says, I'm an Istanist. It's hard for me when, there are leaves that fall into my food. I'm exempt from the sukkah. To that extent, the Torah tells us that our feelings are taken into account. So why this mitzvah? Because all of the other mitzvot, even if it's uncomfortable for you, you have to do them. Sukkah is one of only two mitzvot in the entire Torah that we do with our whole body. Our whole body is inside the sukkah. Our whole essence is inside the sukkah. The only other one is living in Israel. Living in Israel, every time you wake up, you move, anything you do in Israel is a mitzvah. Same thing as in the sukkah. You eat, you sleep, anything you're doing in the sukkah is a mitzvah. Just being in the sukkah is a mitzvah. One of the things about it that I've heard that I really connected to was the fact that a sukkah is God's version of giving you a hug. The halacha of how many walls you need to build a kosher sukkah is you need 2 and a bit. Like a hug. The arm bends around, you've got 1, 2, and a bit from the arm. Like a nice warm hug. And why is a mitzta'er patur from the sukkah? Why is someone who's not enjoying exempt from the sukkah? Because if you don't want a hug, then you're exempt from the hug. But God is offering you the hug. God is offering you, after these days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, still the end of Yemei Hadin ends in Simchat Torah Shmini Atzeret. And the sukkah, God's saying, let's take a break. Come, let me give you a hug. If the hug is painful for you, go back inside. Come back when you're ready. So, Chag Sameach, and we all enjoy this warm, warm hug. Shabbat Shalom.